Hello everyone, my name is Mariya Nurislamova and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Scentbird. Scentbird is your doorway into a world of scent, a world that is alluring, visceral, tactile, a world that I myself love so much. We have been building Scentbird for quite some time and we are the leading fragrance subscription business in the world. And I also think of us as scent storytellers, and we also help you discover your next favorite signature fragrance or build a whole collection of scents from the comfort of your couch and your PJs. You get to skip that perfume counter experience and just get straight to fragrance discovery. I think I knew that I was destined to be connected to fragrance really early in life. Right about 3 to 4 years old, I think I was, when I started stealing my mom's fragrance. She's definitely not surprised that I started Scentbird, let me tell you. As far as the idea itself, oh wow, that feels like going back in time so much. I remember being, out shopping in New York City on Fifth Avenue at a very, very fancy store. And that was the time when I was starting to get into the niche fragrance world where perfumes were becoming really expensive and the shopping experience was really, really intimidating. Like imagine a floor, like a fragrance counter where I'm the only shopper and there are like 10 sales assistants. And I was like, whoa, this is too much for me. And so I was hoping that I could just discover my next favorite scent from the comfort of my couch and just skip that perfume counter experience. And it was not, it didn't exist. And sometimes when you want something badly enough, you have to build it yourself if nobody else would build it. And so I was just lucky enough to meet my co-founders at the time, and we created a scent recommendation engine. So it was just a splash page on the web where somebody could come and enter their perfume preferences, and we would recommend other things for them to try. Now, we launched that first rendition of Scentbird, and little did I know, people started emailing us, assuming that there was going to be a sampling experience connected to the scent recommender. And we were taken aback. I did not expect that. I did not see that coming. And we had to build a sampling experience. And that is how we, ended up with the version of Scentbird that you know today. I am really most proud of getting to serve 500,000 fragrance lovers across the United States and Canada. That is probably the highlight of my day. So when I wake up in the morning, our customers is what I think about first. And before I go to bed at night, the last thing I think about is our customers and how can we serve them better. That probably would be the first big milestone. The second big milestone I'm proud of, as far as Scentbird is concerned, is our first acquisition. So we just brought a brand called Drift into the larger Scentbird family. Drift is an air freshener, car freshener subscription service. The product is innovative. It's phenomenal. I love it. I have it in my car, that's for sure. And I was just excited to, it felt such a natural extension of our philosophy and the concept of democratizing fragrance and making it more accessible. And Drift is really elevating the car game as far as scent is concerned. And so we're really excited to have them as a part of our family. And last but not least is we have just launched Scent World, which is our fragrance podcast, which allows us to start telling better perfume stories, which is something that I really love. I love storytelling. I'm an avid reader. I love when people tell stories. And I think that as somebody who's an innovator in the scent space, it is almost not just our mission, but our responsibility to tell great perfume stories. And I think with the launch of Scent World, we get to bring so many amazing creators and their stories to life in a way that really would resonate with our Scentbird customers. That for me, this is something that's very, very special and dear to my heart. I am very excited about the future of Scentbird because I think we're just beginning to scratch the surface of what's possible in digital scent discovery. I've always known that Scentbird is not a very local concept. We are going to go global. So we have our site on Europe for sure later this year. And another thing that I'm really, really excited is expansion into adjacent categories. So we have already done our first foray into candles. And now with the Drift's acquisition, we are going to play in the car freshener space. And I'm excited to keep going. I think everything that has a scent is our business, right? And so I would love to help even more consumers around the world. I think Scentbird has an innovator's heart. And we have always had big dreams and aspirations. And I think that somebody who's an entrepreneur, I really get excited about a big vision. I think that way back when I started looking at different industries, I knew that, in a digital first world, there's going to be somebody who's going to be the winner in the category. And so I've always dreamed of Scentbird becoming the #1 fragrance destination globally, online and offline, all of it, right? So everything from discovery and scent content to trial to purchase, all of this kind of like as a cohesive, coherent ecosystem that spans pretty much every single country in the world. That is the big dream. And that is what I get excited about executing every day. I think the entrepreneurial journey is beautiful because you get to build the world that you would like to see. And in some ways, it's very empowering. It's probably one of the most empowering things that I've ever done as an individual. I think of entrepreneurship as a self-care tactic because it really forces you in some ways outside of your comfort zone, but also allows you to really reach out for that full potential. I love the journey. There's nothing else I'd rather do with my life. I think the biggest challenge I faced has been a need to constantly reinvent myself. Every year as an entrepreneur is a whole new ball game. What got you to a certain place a year before stops working, and then you are forced to shed the old skin kind of like a snake and come out on the other side, hopefully a better person. But as the business scales, your team becomes bigger. And so I think in the early days of entrepreneurship, it's all about, as an individual contributor, how good are you? And then 3 years in, how good you are as an individual contributor does not matter. In fact, unless you're able to bring more people into your vision, into the company, your company fails, right? And so I think the hardest part has been scaling myself first before scaling my company and seeing 3 steps ahead. Because as the CEO, I need to know, okay, like not where my company is today, but where are we going and what kind of leader does that next stage of growth requires? And so I think that has been probably the most challenging, and it is an ongoing challenge. This is not something that you can be like one and done, the box checked. I give that keeps on giving. So one of the hardest things for me as I was running Scentbird was trying to figure out, as a woman, how am I supposed to lead in this very male business world? And I feel like as a woman, very often it's a challenge. It's a balancing act. You're either too soft or you're too much and too masculine. And I think the question I was asking myself is, I was born a woman. Like God wanted me to be born a woman. That means that my flavor of strength, if you will, my flavor of magic is very different from any man that could potentially, run Scentbird or could run a company. And so for me, the question was, what is it about me and my leadership style that would feel very natural to me, but would also make me an effective leader? And the answer for me was twofold. So I decided that I'm going to lead with my heart instead of my mind, right? Because women are very heart-led creatures, men are very mind-led creatures. At the same time, I decided that I'm going to lead with empathy, which is going back to my heart story, but at the same time, accountability. So for me, when empathy meets accountability, it creates a very particular feminine style of leadership that allows you to be people first, but get the results for your business that your investors expect, and frankly, that your customers would also need in order for you to render the level of service that they expect from you. And so for me, probably the biggest lesson I've learned as a female entrepreneur is that when empathy meets accountability in business, you get feminine magic and you can lead any business of any size and be successful at it. That's my learning. And this is going to be very personal because I'm an immigrant. And as an immigrant, and a lot of immigrants, I think watching this could relate, you have to, sometimes you have it the hard way. Like sometimes you really have to struggle, make things happen, feel like work 2 times, like put 2 times more hours than, other people. And so I have been carrying on to that underdog mentality my entire life since I was a little kid. I felt like I was always the underdog. I always would work harder. I would stay later. I would persevere. I felt like I was like a little fighter. And now that I get to build Scentbird and I get to see my dreams come true, and I see my incredible team, inspiring team that I love, and the team of rock stars to work on my vision, I have graduated from my underdog mentality. I actually feel really good about being able to impact change in a way that I think an underdog usually can't. And so for me, it's definitely been a coming into my power moment and a flourishing in more ways than one, like unfolding like a rose and understanding that no, actually, what my dream matters. And if the dream is big enough, I can always ignite people with it. And it's just such an honor, working with my team on building the future of fragrance. And one can be so lucky. To those wanting to start their own business, I would say that you would know the road by walking it. I think as a young entrepreneur just getting started in the business, everything was intimidating. Everything was unknown, from how do you open like a legal entity to, how do you make sure the shares are right? How do you raise capital? How do you hire people? Etc. Like labor laws, all of these things, they feel so overwhelming at the beginning. But the most important thing is to make that first step. Because when you make that first step, you don't have to solve for 1,000 issues of tomorrow. You just get to solve for one issue of today. And it's literally putting one foot in front of the other and you keep going. And then the universe aligns for you. It brings in the people, the resources, the right energy, so you can be in your best self. And so I would say just start where you are. Don't wait to get perfect, because perfection is impossible. It'll never happen. And I find that people get stopped because they think that other people that start their businesses are somehow better or know better. But it could not be further from the truth. You never have the answers when you're just getting started. You're just willing to take that first step. And so I would encourage you to take the first step.